Morning, everyone. It's Elise, day 11 of my Happy Life Makeover, and I'm smiling because I'm sitting in Robin Hood Park in Key, New Hampshire, and I'm watching these guys do some really cool, I don't know, it's like Tai Chi moves with these big knives, but they're doing this really synchronistic, cool stuff. And these kids are in front of me, behind you, the camera playing, and there's crows crowing, and there's people fishing. It's just a nice day. It's a Sunday. I'm relaxing. I want to talk today about time management, which is an oxymoron because we don't really manage time. We manage ourselves in relationship to time. But so many of us seem like, we don't have enough of it and we could have extra. I know I'm one of those people sometimes. But I like to check back with the work I did with Steven Covey's time management matrix. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that work, but he came up with this matrix where he divided time management into 4 different quadrants. And quadrant 1 would be things that are urgent and important, and they're pressing. It would be things like crises, medical emergencies, projects with a deadline. I actually have the list. I should look at that so I don't forget anything. Let me see. Oh, deadline-driven projects, last-minute preparations for scheduled activities, and pressing problems. Sort of if like you invested a lot of money in a ticket to go overseas and it's time for you to leave for the airport, and suddenly you realize you forgot to pack your passport, so you go to get it and you don't know where it is, and it's like tick tock, oh my gosh, if I don't have my passport I'm going to miss the plane and there's no refund, and oh, that's not a good feeling. So that would be that would be one example of something considered time management in quadrant 1. The second quadrant, which Stephen thinks is the most important as far as manage the things in this well and everything else seems to go a little smoother, which would be quadrant 2. There's a really cool mosquito hovering. Can you see him? Whoa, go on, guy. Quadrant 2 is a quadrant of quality and personal leadership, and these are things like prevention and preparation, and I'm going to look at my list now: exercise, values clarification, relationship building, true recreation and relaxation, which is what I'm doing today as soon as I get done filming this for my lunch break. When you manage those things very well, you reduce issues that happen in quadrant 1. For example, I'm talking about cleaning up my environments. If you cleaned up your environments and you had a really nice filing system and you knew where your passport was, when it came time to leave and you realized, oh, I forgot my passport, you would know exactly where to get it, and you wouldn't have that sense of like overwhelming panic. So you invest time into also your personal relationships, and then you don't have to spend time in other quadrants fixing problems because you invested in prevention of certain things. Quadrant 3 is the quadrant of deception. These are things that are not important but have a real sense of urgency. They could be interruptions, some phone calls, some meetings, many pressing matters, and many popular activities. So these are things that don't lead back to your quadrant 2. They don't have any relationship to those goals, and that's the quickest way to determine whether or not something you're doing is in the quadrant of deception. If it doesn't point back to your goal and it feels urgent, you're rushing around to take care of it, it's in quadrant 3. Quadrant 4 is the quadrant of waste. Need I say more? These are things that are not important and they're not urgent, but we tend to get caught up in them sometime. This is busy work, junk mail, some phone messages and email, time wasters, escape activities, and viewing mindless TV shows. I didn't say that. That was on Steven's thing, okay? I don't have cable. I haven't had it for 18 years. Not that sometimes I don't get caught up in time wasters, because I do. There are other time wasters besides television. That seems to be popular now. I'd say that list should include computer viewing, right? Or Facebook. I do that too. I get on Facebook sometimes, and I'm on longer than I probably should be. So this week, maybe you can think about how to start managing your self in relationship to the clock, and determining what's really important and what are the things that uphold your values, and what are activities that you can do to begin to expand quadrant 2 so that you reduce the sense of urgency in quadrant 1, because crises are going to happen. You can't necessarily, prevent that, but you can prevent the stress that's caused by some of the crises. Okay, I think later this week and maybe even tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the importance of creating a not to-do list, and that will sort of tie in with the work, that I'm talking about today, time management. Okay, well, I am going to go invest in quadrant 2, and I think I'm going to go take a little walk right now because it's so nice here. You guys enjoy your weekend if you're viewing today, or your week if you're viewing later in the week. Have a great day. Bye.